get so caught up in the day-to-day, just keeping your head down and fighting to survive. We float by each other like ghosts every day, ignorant to the struggle, the fight with one another, complacent with the fact that our systems are broken, with the fact that the top 10 will always be first in line, the fact that we are killing our planet and allowing them to keep us divided. We must stand together and rise up. It's time we wake up, and that is a difficult truth.
Welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an had an awesome Monday weekend. I want to thank everybody for joining us on Saturday for Saturday Saturday. I appreciate all of that, and I appreciate all the new YouTube subscriptions, all the new follows. Thank you guys so much. You guys are what makes this channel grow. We have a plethora of headlines to go through. We've got a plethora of headlines to go through. Friday, as you guys may have seen, there was a bomb threat at the U.S. Capitol once again, and luckily the person was taken into custody without an incident. As far as I know, that's about as much information. Other than his social media, it was very apparent what this guy's motivation is, who he was targeting, and who he supported. It's very obvious. Certainly, his motivations were political. And he apparently had it out for Joe Biden, as he named him. He was the sole name that he was after, it seemed, or at least he repeatedly named him. He was a staunch Trump supporter that was radicalized. Within a year-ish. Never voted before, except for the 2020 election. So, words matter, folks. Words matter. What you say and how you say it matters. Stochastic terrorism is a thing. I heard there was no bomb and he possibly has schizophrenia. Yes, there may have been, there may be a mental illness factor. I don't know if there's any other updates on that investigation. I know there was a bomb threat in NYC roughly about the same time. They were able to figure that one out pretty quickly, but I don't think, well, I haven't seen any updates on whether or not they were able to determine what was in the pickup truck. That being said, that is true. I keep hearing that there was some type of mental illness factor to it, and that there's also some history of violence as well, according to his ex-wife. How's it going, by the way? Howdy, howdy. Let me make sure we got everything going, because we do have quite a bit of news. Hello. Who's Oh, it's Bad Bunny's emotes. I was like, whose emotes are these? Alright. We've got a couple of headlines to go through. Let's get started. Maybe so. Maybe so, Dakapolar. First fantastic story of the day. Mike Lindell predicts Trump's fantastical reinstatement before the year's end. So now Now we move the date. This is classic cult behavior, right? You just keep pushing back the date. Before the year's end is the new one. First it was he was going to win the election. Then he was going to be inaugurated, not Joe Biden. Then it was supposed to be wasn't it January 6th? No. I thought that was the whole reason why they were there. No, I'm getting my stories wrong. Okay. Timeline. Trump was supposed to win. January 21st, he would be inaugurated, not Joe Biden. Then something to do with the actual inauguration date being March, I believe, or April. And now it was August, and now we're moving to the end of, before the end of this year. Sometime, so now we're not even getting into specifics. Sometime in 2020, before 2021 ends. They moved the goalpost again, surprise, surprise. Yeah, this is some cult. This is a cult. This is a cult.
When you steal an election, you don't just steal an election and we're going to sit here and go,
Jesus
okay,
Christ.
let's wait for 2020 or let's wait for 2024. I'll tell you what, it's Trump 2021.
Look, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing because like this is very serious. I think that this person needs help. Unironically, I think this person, like without making light of it, I really do think he needs help. I think that he is bought hook, line, and sinker into that delusion, and it's kind of keeping him in an alternate reality so that he doesn't have to face the real reality of $1.something billion a $1.something billion lawsuit. His business is collapsing. His business is collapsing. I mean, like, he's on the brink of losing everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if all of this is just desperation. A difficult cult. All hail the truth. True. Hey, Kalo. Who keeps him going? The machines? Yeah, he keeps himself going. He's bought himself. He's bought into this delusion himself to prevent him from dealing with the real problems that he's facing. He's not living in reality. He's trying to avoid it at all costs. Up to and including creating this whole alternate universe where Trump is supposed to be president or something like that. And it's very clear as to a very plausible reason why, right? Exactly, Darknet. His pillows are probably 66% off for a reason. Correct. As you see there, correct. So, yeah, this is someone who's very desperate. This is someone who is not, how should I put this? Not taking personal responsibility for the situation that he's in. And this is where he is. It's really sad because this guy is like really losing it, I think.
That's what it is, 2021.
And what's worse is the crowd. What's worse is the crowd, I think. What's worse is the crowd, because like one person just shouting like this like crazy like delusional stuff is, you know, whatever, but like crowds just cheering this on is the real disturbing part of this whole thing. 666% off, my friends. Discount code help me for 40% off. True. Oh man. Hey KTS. It's sad. It really is.
of 2020. There is no 2022 and 2024.
The hell does that mean?
But I will tell you this, everybody, on a horizontal track, don't worry, we're going to keep fighting to get this to the Supreme Court, get everything taken care of.
Bro, you already went there. They didn't even take your case. Yeah, former presidents, contrary to what he's been saying, former presidents are not reinstated to the presidency after they lose an election. Yeah. I mean, David Pakman offered him to put his money where his mouth is, and he couldn't do it. Clearly he understands that this isn't real. But, you know, his desperation has fed him into this delusion. I got to see this live. I got to see this particular incident live. Trump booed at Alabama rally after telling his supporters to get vaccinated. Yep. Even when the dear leader is trying to tell you. It's... I wonder if we could find out where he, Come on. He has to know, right? He has to know it's a grift. I don't know if he knows as much as a grift as it is he knows it isn't true. But he knows it isn't true, but I think that there's some heavy cognitive dissonance going on that is not allowing him to kind of like square those circles, right? I mean, like, Apollyon, the man is about to lose everything. He's on the brink of losing everything, and like in situations of desperation, I mean, people often do irrational things and believe, like, kind of double think. They'll simultaneously believe two different things, two contradicting things at once, and clearly he's not doing well. And that was the Trump hologram created by the Democrat machines, true. How come I can't... Hello? You should save that clip for any time an anti-vaxxer chat comes in. Yes, I'm gonna find it because I thought this was gonna be easier. But it's a 9-hour event, and I'm pretty sure he's like towards the end. And it's not coming up. I guess we'll just leave it there. Maybe it'll come up. The fact that he may be back on crack, and also knowing that Trump won't help improve his life in any meaningful way if he was successful, even if he was successful in getting him back in office. Yeah, even if he was like, he did like the impossible, in an impossible scenario, and an alternate timeline, where Trump magically gets back into office, like, he's not gonna care. Much like he didn't even pay his, well, anything. Doesn't he still owe a bunch of money to cities for hosting his rallies? Doesn't he owe Rudy Giuliani money for his lawyer fees. Yeah. They seem less and less interested at the rallies. That's a good point, then. That may be true. I mean, it just keeps spinning. What's wrong with this? Wait, let me refresh. How's it going, by the way? Oh.
Why they will to impoverish morning was
Confederate saying that
that try men.
An army
No way.
is a team.
Wait. No. Wait. I can't. Right. Exactly. Ah. I was looking for this entire thing all last night. And... No, I don't want YouTube to send me notifications. Stop it. It's creepy. Oh, I see. Perfect. Okay. Gotcha. I need to make this a soundbite on my on my little tablet.
is doing so well. India is doing so
India.
well. India is being decimated right now. We did a great job on that. The ventilators, the equipment that we got, the cupboards were all bare. Everything that we did. And then we developed a vaccine, 3 vaccines in 3 months, in 9 months. And actually,
Wait,
I'll tell you.
was it 3 or was it 9? Did we develop? we is a lot of people. You mean government funded companies developed vaccines, one of which is German.
It was 3 days less. 3 days less than 9 months.
Huh?
And it's
3
great.
days,
and you
what?
know what? I believe totally in your freedoms. I do. You got to do what you have to do. But I recommend take the vaccines. I did it. It's good. Take the vaccines. But you got, no, that's okay. That's all right. You got your freedoms. But I happen to take the vaccine. If it doesn't work, you'll be the first to know, okay? I'll call up Alabama. I'll say, hey, you know what? But it is working. But
that's what I need to make this like an entire video here, and every time I get one of them, I'm gonna click a button and it's gonna show up right there on the top screen. That like clip. So let me save this because I gotta do that. You hear that? Clip and ship, fam. Clip and ship. Is this save? Bookmark this. Yeah, I need to bookmark this. Tramp gets booed. Done. Easy. So now I can do that. The word hole in their presence true. Hey, Silver Knight. Alright, here we go.
It lives, eats, sleeps, fights as a team. This individuality stuff is a bunch of crap. The bilious bastards who wrote that stuff about individuality for the Saturday Evening Post.
Wait. Based Patton? Wait. Wait, based Patton? you mean we're supposed to like deal with things as a team, as a species? We're supposed to like help each other and work towards goals together? Huh. Interesting.
Don't know anything more about real battle than they do about fornicating. Now we have the finest food and equipment, the best spirit, and use them to grease the treads of our and use them. And I can assure
Oh, no. Okay. Thank you. Jesus Christ.
this goes all the way back. I wish they'd show it
I've heard
because
of
they
this
just don't do
cooperation
that.
thing,
You know,
too.
they don't like to. This goes all the way back. I just looked at it on television.
I mean, you all heard the Great Patriot. General Patton, right? We are a team.
But it's our television. We show it, but they don't show it. You know why? Because they're fake news, right? They're fake news. Hello, Alabama, and I'm thrilled to be back in your incredible, wonderful state that we won by a record number. We won this state.
Yeah. I mean, it's Alabama. what do you want to say about that?
We also won a lot of other states by numbers that they don't tell you about.
Not true.
We did have a rigged election.
Nope.
It was terrible.
No, not
terrible.
true. There's nothing rigged about this election whatsoever in terms of, like, there's no serious evidence of any type of widespread election fraud or voter fraud, despite the umpteenth billionth time he says it. It will not magically make it true, okay? Despite the umpteenth billionth cajillionth time he says it, it's not going to be true. That's just not how it works. But, you know, repeat a lie long enough and repeat a lie often enough, and it becomes truth.
And you look at what's going on now. You look at what's going on now and the border, but
I recommend take the vaccines, clip it, yes.
But I'm with thousands of proud, hardworking, incredible American patriots. With your help, we're going to elect our friend Mo Brooks to the U.S. Senate.
Yikes.
We're going to fire Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Joe Biden, and the radical left. And we're going to make America great again. We have been making it so great.
Wait. We're gonna make America great again, but we've been making it so great. I'm sorry. Did you or did you not do the thing? I thought I thought you did the thing. I don't know, Dakapolion. I know he's super cringe. That I do know. I mean, we could look it up. Yeah, Trump on his deathbed. Please grab a phone, call Alabama before I go tell them they were right. True. Yeah, right. He doesn't think about any of these people. He doesn't care.
Now they're biting into that, but we're not going to let that happen. We can never let that happen. That's why, you know, I had the idea, all my ideas. Someday they're going to tell me how to do things.
Wait, what?
But I like the George Patton piece. Did you like that? General Patton. I thought so.
Yeah, it was from a movie, okay.
We're getting a little tired of the woke generals that we have, right? Where they move our military out before they move our civilians and before they move 80...
Wait. Yes, I know. The woke military that, woke means when we do, bad missions. Yeah, that's... If that's the case, then you can then say Bush had the wokest of wokest militaries as the disaster that culminated into this started there. Yeah, exactly. Spread it forward. How's it going? You were going to... The thing you were going to do but couldn't, right? Getting out of Afghanistan, right?
$3 billion worth of equipment. Let's move them out. And the Taliban looks and they say, I can't believe it. This could only happen to us. I can't believe it. The military left. They go in. We have 45,000 people there, Americans. Anywhere from, I guess, 15. They have no idea how many. That's even worse.
Oh.
They say it could be 10. Oh.
Yikes.
Could also be 45,000, but it's a lot of people. And equipment like nobody has anywhere in the world, $83 billion. 1 year ago this month, in my nomination acceptance speech, which you remember, a lot of you were there. I see a lot of you that were there.
How does he
warned
remember?
the entire country of the disastrous consequences of a Biden presidency. I understood it.
Yeah, sure. Hold on. This is the guy he's supporting? So just to be clear, this is Mo Brooks trying to essentially justify or at least sympathize with the person who went up to Washington D.C. from North Carolina and caused a 5-hour standoff with authorities due to a bomb threat. He said he was, quote, sympathetic to anger directed at dictatorial socialism. This isn't anger, my dude. This was a literal bomb threat, okay? This isn't anger directed at, quote, dictatorial socialism. This was a bomb threat. In other words, should he have succeeded, he's basically okaying violence as long as it's directed towards X. Unbelievable.
A lot of you understood it too. I said that Joe Biden would eliminate America's borders in the middle of a pandemic. He did.
He did not. Literally did not. Yeah, so in case we needed further context, just saying, this is the guy that he's like supporting.
I predicted that he would unleash a wave of violent crime that would turn our cities into a nightmare of killing and bloodshed.
Yes, Joe Biden single-handedly unleashed. Jesus Christ. Unleashed. Yeah, they make it seem like domestic terrorism is this casual thing. No, it's not a casual thing. It's okay because they understand the anger directed at dictatorial socialism. They understand it's okay as long as you direct it towards these people, what they perceive as. Yeah, as long as it gives them good feelies, and as long as you keep up whatever necessary buzzwords to keep people angry, then yeah, it's all good.
You look at these Democrat-run cities.
Chicago, cities.
LA, big cities, small.
Miami. Oh, no, we're not gonna. No. Ah, damn.
Cities, everyone run by a Democrat. New York, they don't prosecute people in New York. Only Republicans they prosecute. They don't.
That's not true. I'm gonna need a source on that.
Prosecute murderers and killers. They prosecute Republicans.
That source, please. Source.
Misconduct. It's called prosecutorial misconduct. But I told you this was going to be happening. We stated it loud and clear. We said he would impose crippling shutdowns and restrict. Wait. Maybe I've been asleep this whole time. I work from home. Maybe I've been asleep at this time. Can anybody in chat direct me towards the last shutdown that President Biden initiated? Can somebody in chat link that for me? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I was asleep. I do work from home, so. When was the last shutdown that President Biden did? Just somebody find that one for me. Restrictions on in-person schooling, and that these painful policies would nonetheless fail to stop the virus. He didn't stop the virus.
Wait, no, that's not. No. God, this is so frustrating. Yeah, this is the. Okay, so, I must be in the Matrix or something, because, like, me and Trump are living on two. I got kicked out of a Whole Foods for not wearing masks. That's dictatorial socialism. True. Trump could give a speech where you could burn the Constitution on live TV as long as it had the right buzzwords. Yeah, I mean, he did say that he could literally shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they still vote for him. He's right.
You know, they say, oh, he gets wonderful marks. He doesn't get good marks. He's done a terrible job.
To be fair, Joe Biden has had very high approval ratings up until the Afghanistan debacle.
Including on vaccinations, including on everything else. And now the virus...
Wait, no, hold on. I'm sorry. You can't blame the vaccination percentages on Joe Biden when there's people out there literally going around to millions of people on cable news, on social media, saying do not take this vaccine. On TikTok, oh my god, TikTok is rife. Sorry, it is rife with just outlandish clips designed to paint anti-vax narratives. So no. You mean like Joe Biden is doing right now? What does that mean? Kind of weird.
The virus is back. The virus is back. I'm shaking hands with everybody backstage. I say, well, I don't know. Is this a good thing or bad?
Wait. Wait. The virus isn't back. It never left. So first of all. Second of all, no, you should not be doing this. Is Trump breaking your vocabulary? Trump's breaking my head right now. And number two, no, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be... You are a vulnerable age group. You're a vulnerable age group. Despite you being fully vaccinated, you should probably be wearing masks, especially around all of these folks. There's a woman faking disabilities from the vaccine on TikTok, and she's raised like 17K. Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of quacks going around. There's a lot of quacks going around saying, you know, flaunting credentials that they don't have, making these like scary accusations, and then they get clipped in, you know, from city council medias, from city council meetings, and then they put it on TikTok. Literal quacks. Antifa fool, I'm gonna be voting for Trump in 2024. My vote cancels your vote out. Okay, buddy. You know what? Democrats had China release the virus and paid for it? Really? Do you have a source for that? Do you have a source for that? Because like source or when you make a accusation like that, you've got to have a I'm sure a very thoroughly researched line of evidence, right? We're learning so much today. I know. You get one chance. Where's your thoroughly researched, compiled evidence to make this claim? To make this very, very strong accusation? Come on. I mean, he's got one chance to present evidence of outlandish claims like this. I need a new pet. You know, this happens to me in Majority Report chat. None of these none of these clowns ever answer my questions. It's so sad. So sad.
You'll read about it in 3 or 4 days, maybe. Hopefully not. But I said that Biden would embolden America's enemies, and that's what he's done, and that the radical Democrat socialist agenda.
Oh my god. This is like a word salad of buzzwords. Of all the buzzwords that make people people scared.
Would set our nation on the road to economic ruin. You look at what's going on with inflation. Has anyone noticed that your gasoline is now at levels that you never thought you'd see?
Has anyone noticed like the past pandemic for a year, almost 2 years now? Or did that just like get casually left out of the equation as to why we're at in the same place?
And 6 months ago. So we had $1.87 a gallon, and we had a thriving industry, energy independent.
Hold on. I'm gonna press exit out. I suppose it depends on where you live, but our gasoline prices did go up by a little bit, but they have been more or less like not like an exorbitant increase. Yes, I know, spread it forward.
Nobody thought would ever be energy independent. We didn't need the Middle East.
Wait, if you want to be energy independent, you know what's like great for energy independence? Making sure that all your sources are as renewable as possible. That would be the biggest energy independence movement for the United States. Yeah, they never answer. When you like press like for actual like evidence of like these wild claims, they could never give it to you. And it's like, okay, dudes, why are you making like, why are you just regurgitating random stuff? Like, come on. For people that claim that they like to think for themselves, pretty cringe, dude. I think we were here. What if the wind stops blowing?
We didn't need the Middle East, and now you have over $5 in many
Bezos
cases.
didn't pay to answer.
Even
True.
Here, it's going to be
didn't program in those answers. Boo.
And I saw the other day before this whole thing with Afghanistan started, because right now nobody's talking even about energy, even about the horrible border condition that.
Wait. Nobody's talking about energy? Wait. That's not true. Hey, Zachap, how's it going?
They're allowing millions of people to come into our country.
Folks.
People that we have no idea, but people aren't talking about that. Talking about the disaster of Afghanistan. Not only have my predictions come 100% true,
100.
but it's even worse than any of us could have imagined in our worst nightmare. Nobody thought this kind of thing could happen. Biden has obliterated our border, given up our energy independence.
No, he hasn't. Wait. Wait, can somebody tell me, besides like, okay, fine, he attempted to take away the Remain in Mexico plan, he is trying to expand overflow facilities, he's trying to somewhat pour a little bit more resource into that. Can somebody tell me the other, other than that, what is the difference between the immigration policy then and now? Can somebody point that difference out to me? Is there a real large difference between the actual immigration policies that we have right now and the immigration policies that we had 2 years ago? Besides like those like marginal changes.
Independence caused soaring inflation. He failed totally on economic and policies. I mean, you look at what's going on. It's
which policies? Do you know the state of the economy right now? No? Interesting.
Crazy. And the senators that voted for this $1.2 trillion bill, of which they call it infrastructure, but only 11% is infrastructure. Where the hell are these people coming from? It's the roadmap. They call it the glide path. It's the roadmap to the Green New Deal.
Wait.
Conceived and dedicated by AOC. A real
Oh god, this is so infuriating. This is so infuriating. Look, it is not the roadmap to the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal is a completely separate policy. And furthermore, we still don't even know. We still don't even know whether or not these Democrats are even going to get any marginal climate legislation done. It's just up in the air at this point. It's really up to President Joe Manchin and Madam President Kirsten Sinema whether or not this happens. Trump is bad for your blood pressure too. True. Yeah, but they keep hammering it on it, even though obviously Biden isn't doing the socialism communism thing, but if you say it enough times, it becomes true. And I don't mean that as a meme. I mean as how you do media. If you repeat these talking points and will them into existence, people really do believe this. Right, they can literally take everything out, and every green in the infrastructure bill, and the Republicans will still call it the Green New Deal. Right, so that's kind of what I was trying to get at with the with Josh Weil. We've got to figure out how to meaningfully pass something, and if we don't, then we're screwed. This is what I was trying to point out.
Real beauty. She's a real beauty. She knows more about the environment. I don't think she ever even did she ever take a course? She wasn't a good student. Did she ever take a course?
Wait, no. Didn't she graduate didn't she get good marks and also honorary certificates from MIT and stuff? Yeah, I don't know about that. Did you?
Course on the environment. Remember when we first said you have 12 years to live, she said 2 years ago. That means you have, right now you're about 9.5 years. Somehow you're not worried about that, but you are worried about China and Russia and other places, okay?
Yikes. No. So the meme that everybody's going to die in 9 years is not true. However, failing to act accordingly and failing to move aggressively when it comes to climate change within those time frames is locking us in for the worst end of it, right? And that will end up resulting in a lot of human suffering. I don't get it if there's Trump supporters that I met that truly thought they got Trump attacks us. Now they're really thinking Biden implemented some socialist agenda. Yeah, I know. Changing the name of the Green New Deal is okay, but please don't take out the funding for renewable energy. Right, yeah, but that's how you try to get people on board. It's just literally branding. Is there any videos of Biden talking about leftist theories like Marx or anyone? No, not a single one, as far as I can tell. What does moving aggressively entail exactly? Well, for one, eliminating subsidies for fossil fuels and moving as quickly as possible in as many ways as possible to get our energy grids off of fossil fuels in any way, shape, or form as quickly as possible. That would be one thing that we can do. We can reorganize our priorities to make sure that there are costs, that the environmental costs are taken into consideration. There are regulations that we can put so that companies can't do X, Y, or Z. What is this whataboutism? What is this whataboutism? You do realize that we play a huge part too. Hey, Mama Media. So a few hundred Afghan refugees arrived yesterday to the DC area. Nice. FDA has officially approved Pfizer. Nice. So now what's the excuse, huh? So now what's the excuse? You're waiting for full FDA authorization. Well, there you have it.
All right, we rebuilt our military.
We did not.
Stronger, bigger, better than ever before, and now I see it being dissipated and being...
No, wait, didn't we just get... Hold on. Didn't the Biden administration just, like, previously increase the budget for the military? Wasn't that like a whole brouhaha where they increased it by like what 10 or like 20 billion or something like that? It ended up being something to the tune of like 780 billion. Didn't Biden increase the funding for the military? Huh, weird.
Given our military is being given to the enemy.
Wait. Wait, what does that mean?
Biden failed totally on the pandemic, and he's now overseeing the greatest foreign policy humiliation in the history of the United States of America. This is the greatest humiliation I've ever seen. Biden's botched exit in Afghanistan is the most astonishing display of gross incompetence by a nation's leader, perhaps at any time that anybody's ever seen. Name another situation like this. Vietnam looks like a masterclass in strategy compared to Joe Biden's catastrophe. And it didn't have to happen. All he had to do is leave the soldiers there until everything's out. Our citizens, our weapons. Then you bomb the hell out of the bases. We have 5
It is
bases.
whataboutism because you asked what we would do, and then you immediately shifted. You pivoted to say, well, what about? That's literally whataboutism. So now, yes, you are correct that it is going to require a global cooperation, but what leg do we have to stand on if we're not the ones making progress and being the leadership, right? What leg do we stand on then to create an international coalition if we're not doing it ourselves?
And you say bye-bye. You say bye-bye. The scene of those big giant planes taking off with people hanging on the sides and falling off. There'll never be anything like that. That's worse than the helicopters. You remember the helicopters taking off the roofs? This blows it away. Not even a contest. This will go down as one of the great military defeats of all time, and it did not have to happen that way. This is not a withdrawal. This was a total surrender. They surrender for no reason. They weren't asking. We had them. I dealt with Abdul, who was the leader. I said, Abdul, anything happens, we are going to rain terror upon you.
Didn't the Biden administration threaten the same thing? Anyways, something like that offensive force. Yeah. Can somebody link me the FDA thing? Can somebody link me that one?
It will be a terrible thing. Don't touch our
We don't live in
American
reality.
citizens.
No, some of us don't.
Don't ever come to our country. Don't ever come to our country. And you're going to continue fighting your civil war. I can't do that. They've been fighting it for hundreds of years.
Who's coming
That's
to
what
our
they do is
country?
they fight.
Wait, who's coming to our country? Who's we? Or who's they, I should say.
But I had a good relationship other than that one statement. I said, after I said that, I said, now let's get down to business. And we had a conditions-based agreement. And they didn't meet the first 2 conditions, and we hit them hard. And then they met them. And then they had a couple of other conditions that they were ready to meet. And then we had a rigged election, and we had a new president.
Whoa.
And
Let me
the new
stop you.
president came into
Let me stop you right there. No, there is no such thing as a rigged election. We are in no position to lead China and India, who need fossil fuels to lift their poor, comfortable middle class. When point of view is going green, will solve the issue, but likely hamper us economically and Asian countries are willing to expand through fossil fuels. Okay, so ask yourself, how many US companies are the ones perpetuating this in China for cheap labor? And then ask yourself why we shouldn't be the ones taking the lead. Okay? I'm not saying like just magically nanosnap US becomes green, everybody's kumbayaing and we solved it. However, us going green and then saying this is how we did it, we'll export technology, we'll export the blueprints that we need, well, what do you need? How can we help you? And get those countries together and form an international coalition to try to help them. Furthermore, Sir Yogi just pointed out a good point there. Green energies are becoming cheaper.
Office, and he dropped to his knees and he said, come on in and take everything that we have. This is a disgraceful thing, the most embarrassing thing that we've ever seen.
Also, you know what else is incredibly hampering economically? The hundreds of thousands of... That's not true. Rhythmology, that's literally not true. Hold on. I mean, damn. Damn. I did hack Google. So as you can see, clearly there are other factors. There are other factors in place that that make it so maybe it's the massive subsidies. Maybe it's the massive subsidies that that also give them that that edge too. Anyways, you know what else is incredibly detrimental to our economy? The hundreds of thousands of acres that are currently on fire, the billions of dollars that are being the billions of dollars lost due to hurricanes, floods. And I'm like, doesn't he smell merch if he makes profit of the merchant he exploits, right? Look, I don't care. Listen, I'm not here to do the drama memes, okay? Oh, I've seen this chart before. Plus, fossil fuels are incredibly inefficient and wasteful. It's okay to vent, but I'm just not here for the drama. If you want to check it out, feel free to check that out. Rhymology. Well, that's what we do.
In this country, there's never been an embarrassment, and the nations of the world, both friend and foe, are looking at us and saying, what the hell happened?
Seems like the easiest way to get people over. Maybe, but I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard because we have people unironically arguing the economy over the sustainability of the planet. Build a water pipeline from the flood-ridden east to waterless west. Infrastructure jobs. Maybe. I don't know how that would how that would work, but yeah. I mean, clearly we have to do something in terms of the water crisis.
Can't believe it. I can't believe it. The equipment that they've got is the most sophisticated military equipment in the world. He surrendered our air base. He surrendered our weapons. He surrendered our embassy. They spent $1 billion building this ridiculous embassy, and he abandoned our great American citizens. They're over right now. They have no idea. Remember this, the Taliban's tough, and they don't respect our country, and they don't respect our president. It's not good.
Wait.
They're over there now, and they don't know what's going to happen, our citizens. Joe Biden was going on vacation as Afghanistan was going to hell.
Wait. No.
And this is what you get when you have weakness in the White House. You can't have weakness in the White House. They have to respect your president. When I was president, we only had strength. Remember the 59 shots we took at Syria?
Yikes.
59
This is a might makes right argument.
missiles, every single one of them hit their target from 700 miles away. And I was sitting with President Xi of China. You remember having chocolate cake at Mar-a-Lago? It was wonderful cake.
Yeah, I know. I know you're very fond of people.
And when I said to him what we had just done, the missiles were launched, he looked at me and he goes, repeat. I didn't know he spoke English, actually. He said, repeat. I said, what did you just say? Repeat. So he spoke a little more English than I thought, because he never said hello, but he said, repeat. And I said, we just shot 59 missiles in from ships very far away. Every one of them hit their target. It was an incredible display of talent and weapons. And the reason we did that is because we had to, because President Obama and Biden drew the red line in the sand and said, don't cross it, and they crossed it, and nothing happened. That's when Russia got involved. Russia went in. They said,
gotcha.
oh, nothing's going to happen. So Russia got involved. Other countries got involved. That red line in the sand from President Obama that was just absolutely, it just didn't matter. It was just words. That's the problem with a lot of politicians.
I'm sorry.
But
to be honest, I can't follow this. I can't follow this.
Mo, but it just doesn't matter. When he said red line, don't ever cross it, and they crossed it, and nothing happened. But the 59 missiles were an incredible display. Under my administration, everyone in the world knew not to mess around with America. They knew that. They understood our power and that I would not hesitate to use it in defense of our citizens. And the Taliban understood that maybe as well as anybody. This would never have happened if I was president. Our country was so respected. Everybody respected our country. China respected our country. We took in billions and billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs from China. They never gave us 10 cents.
That's not true.
Of course, the China virus came, and it was a lot different. My attitude toward China changed. As I personally told the Taliban leader, if anyone ever double-crossed the United States of America, it would be the last thing
China,
they ever did.
Taliban,
Said it loud and clear.
what?
And you knew it better than anybody in Alabama.
What?
Mr. Secretary General, world leaders, ambassadors, and distinguished delegates. 1 year ago, I stood before you for the first time in this grand hall. I addressed the threats facing our world, and I presented a vision to achieve a brighter future for all of humanity. Today, I stand before the United Nations General Assembly to share the extraordinary progress we've made. In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Anywho, what were you saying about, like, respect? Sorry.
Alabama knew it because one thing, we won Alabama by a record, we won South Carolina by a record, and then they said, we lost Georgia? How the hell did that happen?
Because you lost Georgia. Wait. Yeah, you won Alabama, correct. But you lost Georgia. Yeah, anyways.
Please clap.
That doesn't happen. No, we know how that happened. We know how it happened. But under our leadership, America was respected again. Our people did a great job. I've been watching Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State. He did a great job, and he's going around spreading the word. And General Kellogg and others, they've been great. But they understood this could never happen. Could never happen. You never move the military first. You move the military last. We had total control militarily. They would have never come in. We could have kept them there for a long time, but 21 years, we want to bring them home. But we want to bring them home with dignity. You know, very soon,
true, KTS.
We're going to have September 11th, and you're going to have, because of Biden, the Taliban flag flying over our embassy, flying over our facilities. So that was not even a possibility that a thing like that could happen. We decimated ISIS. You remember that, ISIS. We had a great, great success. When I took over, ISIS was all over the place. And in a short period of time, we killed its leader and founder, al-Baghdadi. We eliminated the senior ranks of al-Qaeda, and we terminated the world's top terrorist in Soleimani.
Oh my God,
that almost a lot of American soldiers and a lot of other people too.
That almost started another war.
And they knew we weren't playing games. They understood that right from the beginning. This proven record of America's strength laid the groundwork to safely and responsibly bring our troops back home. Nobody was going to mess with us. And then this clown, they rigged the whole damn deal, and he got in office, and now they're taking advantage of us.
No. The election was not rigged.
Remember this. This isn't stopping. This is going to go on for a long time. This is going to go on for a long time. This isn't going away.
That was the freedom. That had to have been the freedom barbecue guy. It sounded like him.
This isn't like a 3-day hit. It's going to go on for a long time. Taliban, great negotiators, tough fighters, great negotiators. You got 45,000 people. You got a lot of people also that deserve to be helped, and they're not going to let them be helped at all. This is going to go on for a long
breakthrough cases are a thing, but they are rare, and if you happen to get a breakthrough case, as long as you're fully vaccinated, you should be fine, generally speaking. Of how he calls Biden a clown. This still must even his brain when he called him a clown during the debates, probably.
Long time. This is a great stain on the reputation of our country. Going into the Middle East was one of the most disastrous decisions that our country has ever been involved with. We've never had a decision, in my opinion, it was the worst decision that we've ever had. It was quicksand.
Well, to be fair,
we should have gone in, knocked the hell out of it. You know, I met a general
Wait, to be fair, there is truth to this. We should have never gone into Afghanistan. So if you're unlucky and die, tough luck? Not really. The chances are very slim if you're fully vaccinated. Like, 99.9% of the folks who are dying are unvaccinated. So yeah, you should probably take all precautions and preventative measures up to and including the vaccine. Yeah. You should do whatever it is. I said the US alone growing green won't solve the issue, and I said quit doing the whataboutism because you originally asked me, remember? You originally asked me what type of aggressive measures, and I answered by removing ourselves from fossil fuels would be something that we could do, right? And then you whataboutismed into, but what about China and India? So if you're gonna try to debate bro me, or you're gonna try to debate bro in chat, like, you better be ready for it. All right, so no. So the point is, it is true that we will need an international coalition, but we can't even begin to talk about it if A, we don't take responsibility ourselves, and B, what leg do we have to stand on if we're not the ones doing it? Is there any truth to the claim that hospitals aren't required to report unvaccinated hospitalizations, leading to these possibly skewed statistics? I don't know. If you can find that, because I don't think so. I don't know. To be quite honest, I'm not gonna say. I really don't know.
His name was General Kane. I don't even know. Maybe he's not even on my side. Who the hell knows with these generals? You know, when I get through with this guy Milley, I mean, how about Milley? Remember?
As though other people doing an action prevents us from... Yeah, exactly.
To the church,
wait.
Proudly walked to the church.
Wait. Yes. Exactly. As though other people doing an action prevents us from doing an action. We can go green, claim leadership by our actions, and push others to do the same. Yeah. Yeah. And furthermore, it is also just not true that other countries aren't taking, like, initiatives, including China. So yeah, like, this is just, like, not the case. You're welcome to look into it. You're welcome to look into that source that Darknet just posted.
That the protesters, they tried to burn it down, but I walked to the church.
Protesters
out there, and Milley was walking with me.
Thank you. Some kind of lefty.
Left media starts calling him, you shouldn't have walked. You shouldn't have walked. Instead of saying, I'm proud to walk with my president, not because it's me, because of the office. Instead of saying that, he wanted to apologize for walking with the president of the United States.
So you are making the argument that we should... wait. You just said, you literally said earlier that you're not making, like, an argument of, like, economic over the climate crisis, but you're literally making this argument right now. So what you're saying is that, sorry, there's nothing we can do. That's basically what your idea is moving towards, right? And furthermore, again, that's not even true. It's on the premise that all of these countries aren't doing anything. That's based on the premise that all countries aren't doing anything, which isn't true at all. There are plenty of countries, including China, that are taking some action, more than us, on that front. Not do anything? Great. So we agree. We should be doing what we can. We should be doing what we can in the time that we have with the tools that we have to get off fossil fuels. Among one of the things, among another thing that we need to do is pour resources into restoring ecosystems that are decimated, that keep us alive. I mean, Besides, like, if you're really worried, if you're that worried about the economy, because clearly that's what your previous statement said. If you're so worried about the economy, what kind of economic growth would we see by implementing all of these job programs for building all of this infrastructure to prepare ourselves? I mean, and it's like, it's really, really funny. Like, folks often like claim about like American exceptionalism, but when it comes to actually dealing with something like a real crisis, then where's that American exceptionalism? Is it just like gone? Yeah, Germany, Ireland. There's a lot of countries. Well, Germany, I don't know. wait, Germany, I don't know. Sorry, am I confusing Germany with the UK? Yes, I think I am. My bad. I confused England opening up new coal mines with Germany. Anyways, there are Western countries and European countries that are doing way more to address climate change than we are. Up to even, like I said, China is doing more than we are. All this is based on the premise that somehow us moving away from fossil fuels puts us at a disadvantage, when in reality, A, that's not necessarily true, and B, other countries are doing the same thing. You continue to make this argument based on that premise. Jesus Christ. Like, this is beyond frustrating.
And I said, this guy doesn't have what it takes. And you're seeing that now, because the worst decisions I've ever seen. That's, again, why I put the patent. I just remembered it as I was coming over here. I said, get that clip quickly.
Get that clip quickly.
The people of Alabama understand that. Like, do you think that... Let me ask you, do you think that General Patton was woke? I don't think so. What do you think, Mike?
Wait,
Mike, was he woke?
I don't know. I don't know. He certainly wouldn't like someone like you, and he certainly stressed the idea of working as a collective. So I don't know, my dude.
I don't think so. I don't think he was too woke. He was the exact opposite. You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Everything woke. Everything woke. It's true. Everything woke turns to shit.
I'd rather have a livable planet than not. Yeah. So, like, all of these, like... Yeah, he did. He did. If woke means loser, then he is pretty woke. Yeah, woke equals loser. I mean, right there, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Biden doing it all right. Only 12 border agents to cover 246 miles. Again, source? Relevancy? Woke is when you lose. Therefore, we'll take his line of logic. If woke equals loser, if woke means you're a loser, then I suppose he is the wokest of the woke. which shows China's looking at the big picture and isn't too preoccupied with our rhetoric. Thanks for the info. Yeah, and like not only that, like China is like making leaps and bounds economically if you really want to take it there, exporting like green energy, exporting solar panels. I believe they are big on that. They're the biggest exporters of solar panels. So yeah, I mean, it would behoove us to try to, you know, do something. Woke is when tie is super long. True. Aww, Sir Yogi, that's cute.
I got in a little trouble. I said that our women's soccer team was supposed to easily win, but they went woke. Except for a few of them. I love those women.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Wait, did I miss something? Like, we were talking about, like, Afghanistan, and now we're talking about wokes and how losers equal woke. And now we're talking about the female soccer team, which is, like, to my knowledge, the current world champions. Didn't they also win a medal? If she keeps it up. That's right, wokeness lost Afghanistan. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate that, Sharpie Diesel. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, wait. Didn't the US women's soccer team win a medal anyways? Hold on. US Women's Soccer Olympics. Yeah, they wait, yes, Kinetic Pause. They won bronze. They won a medal. Wait. They won a medal and they're currently the world champions.
That stood up and they saluted our flag. There was some.
Right. So did you see like how we're like living in like double think? So woke means that you are a loser, but winning a bronze medal at the Olympics because you were woke are the same thing. Wait, how could you be a loser and be woke, but also win medals at the Olympics and be woke at the same time? I don't know. None of this makes any sense. When was the last time the men's team ever made it into the World Cup? Will they make it into the World Cup? They just never get past, like, you know, the initial stages. They usually get, like, most of the time I think they do make it, but it's only second loser though. But they never make it like into even the knockout stages. It's very rare that the US soccer team makes it like very far. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, Kyle. It doesn't really matter. Like, right now the female soccer team does like infinitely better in terms of like medals and titles than the men's soccer team.
But the one with the purple hair, she didn't play too well. She went woke. You can have her.
Oh yeah, so wait. Oh man. Yeah, who even cares about sports? To be fair, I only like watching soccer when it comes to the last quarterfinals and finals, because I think that's exciting. But other than that, like I don't generally watch sports at all, with the exception of like old MMA. Alio with the 10 biddies.
And they didn't do too well, unfortunately. We want them to do well, but
Wait,
they didn't.
they
But it's true
they
about
won.
woke.
Wait, they won bronze. Wait, they won bronze. What are you talking about?
You just take a look. Everything goes bad. It's a shortcut to losing everything you have. They want to get rid of our great heroes and heroines. They want to get rid of our history, our culture. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. You know, when they were starting to rip down our statues, and it started with people, Confederate people, generals, some respected, some not, but they're taking down our culture and our heritage. And then it started with others, and then it went to Robert E. Lee. Robert E. Lee was a part of our history, and then it went to Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson, now George Washington.
Wait.
In San Francisco, they're taking the name of George Washington off schools. Can you believe it? We're not going to let this stuff go on. The hardest thing I had to do as president was signing letters to the families of soldiers who were killed in the Middle East.
What?
Often I called the parents, very often.
Huh? What? Huh? Wait. What? Okay. This is it credited to the protections of Title 6? Title 4. What does that mean? Yeah, like furthermore, you're conflating a whole bunch of people. Okay.
Sometimes I went to Dover Air Force Base. That's where the bodies of the soldiers would come in, and I'd see them bringing a young man, young woman in a coffin, and I'd be with the parents. And I've told this story a couple of times. The parents would sometimes be unbelievable. You would almost not understand. It was like, sir, it's so great to meet you. And they'd always tell stories about their child. Sir, my son could throw a football so long. He was a quarterback in high school. He was a quarterback in college. Sir, I think he could have been in the NFL. He was really good. He was so great.
What?
And we're waiting for the plane to come in. And sometimes they'd be talking about their daughter. Lots of daughters were killed coming out of the Middle East. My daughter was so beautiful, sir. She was so incredible. She was the greatest. And I'd say to the general and the colonel that ran Dover, the great people. By the way, we have great generals.
Wait, I thought we had woke generals. Hold on.
The ones you see on television are not the ones that are great. We have great generals and we have great leaders.
Wait, can somebody...
And a great military that I rebuilt. I rebuilt it. It was exhausting.
Wait. Correct me if I'm wrong. But weren't the, Sir Yogi with the 100 biddies, thank you. Weren't the generals that were under the Trump administration the same generals that are now? Like, these don't just shift with administrations unless they get, like, fired or something, right? Am I correct? Can somebody fact check me? So are these, like, the same woke generals that you had? Like, I'm sorry, are these, like, Schrodinger's generals? Wait, we have Schrodinger's wall and Schrodinger's general? Where, when I'm in office, they're, like, great. But when I'm not in office, they're bad and they're woke. And if they do, they turn into lobbyists. Yeah, like, wait, yeah, exactly. They do not move around. So I'm confident in making that statement that, like, these generals are the same generals that he had. Like, wait, these are Schrodinger's generals. Wait, these are Schrodinger's generals.
But I'd say to the general and the colonel that ran Dover and they saw the bodies coming in many days of the week, I'd say, General, it's amazing. The parents seem so fine. They can handle it. No, they can't, sir. I said, no, I just spent a half an hour talking to them. They're okay. I mean, they understand what happened. They're okay. No, they're not, sir. When that plane pulls up, sir, that big, unbelievable, powerful, just like you saw 3 days ago with the bodies dropping off the sides. How desperate are people to leave when you're hanging, clinging to a plane that goes up
well, that part is true.
thousands of feet and you eventually have to let go? How desperate is that? How sad and how desperate. But when that cargo plane pulled up and that door opened, the general said, sir, when that door opens and you had the most beautiful young people carrying a coffin or a number of coffins off of the plane, sir, when that happens, you'll see the parents are not okay. So I was talking to people that seemed to be fine. I was amazed at their strength. And 10 minutes later, I watched that same mother
Big General
and
Milley
that
as it would
same
piss off the
father
Pentagon establishment.
screaming, running to the coffin as it was
I hated
being
how he
taken,
lost after the
breaking
military
security
machinery, but
lines.
on
You
the
couldn't-
in the same breath is like, wow, this is horrible. So anyways, we have like the best military, and we rebuilt the military, but like, yeah, also he's describing like a very horrible scene as well as a result of. So
Stop them. I've never seen anything like it. And for what? And for what? And then you have a man who just retreats and gives up. And it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace to our country. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace to everybody. The most incredible was the saddest thing. Afghanistan, adversaries and our allies. He was in New York, and he said, it's great to be in Florida. There were no palm trees. Great to be in Florida. He'd do that all the time. I've never done it yet. I've never done it with all the...
No, you just confused your like father with your grandfather. You misspeak in very weird ways, like the oranges of the investigation. I mean, yeah, we could play that game.
The speeches I've made, I was just saying, not for criminal aliens.
Oh, God.
Think of this. Just think of this statement. They are emptying their jails into the United States.
That's not true. That's the... Okay, we're just getting into the whole, like, border wall xenophobia. I'm not entertaining this anymore. It's like the same thing over and over and over again. Under Trump, yeah, exactly. It's Schrodinger. It's Schrodinger's America. We appoint pro-crime judges. Cool. Alright, there's only so much I can take of this. Yeah. Then the usual greatest hits of the immigration border wall, blah blah blah. So this is important news. This is breaking news. And US FDA grants full approval to the Pfizer biotech vaccine. Cool. Then I presume that there should be no quarrels at this point for those who are waiting for full approval of the FDA. Here it is. That earned emergency use authorization this number, making it the first to secure such FDA validation as health authorities struggle to win over vaccine skeptics. Here it is. I suppose the question breaks the link. Wait. Oh, what do you mean, Callum? So, just moving along really quickly to kind of lightning round. The coffee bot, really? Huh. I mean, it works, but for some reason that it breaks after that. I don't know. Maybe I'll take a look at it. Yeah, weird. Maybe I gotta redo the link. So here we have fully authorized, fully approved, FDA approved Pfizer vaccine. So I assume that all these folks who are saying, well, I'm just gonna wait till it's fully FDA approved. Well, there you go. Yes. Yeah, I tried to go to that part, Alio, but but I can't stand here and watch the whole speech. Prop 22. A judge Friday struck down California ballot measure that exempted Uber and other app-based ride-hailing and delivery services from a state law requiring drivers to be classified as employees eligible for benefits and job protections. Alameda County Superior Court Judge Frank Roche ruled the Proposition 2 was unconstitutional. Excellent. I heard about this fucking right. It did. Yeah, that's right. This is great. This is great. Voters approved the measure in November after Uber, Lyft, and other services spent $200 million in its favor, making it the most expensive ballot measure in its state history. Jesus Christ. Whoa! Whoa! Old Navy. Old Navy. No, chill. Chill. I was trying to get a little video on it, but hold on. No, not shop now. I don't want to shop now. Oh, it's a 3-minute video. Okay.
California, gig economy companies have written a new law to suit themselves, spending the most money ever on a California ballot proposition, passing last week with 58% of the vote.
What is the alternative, Big Daddy?
Companies like Uber, Lyft, and Instacart spent more than $200 million to gather support for Proposition 22, which exempts them from a 2019 law that would have turned their drivers into employees.
The alternative to inaction was very bad for drivers, very bad for riders, very bad for the economy in a pandemic.
And bad for your company.
And bad for our company.
Some labor experts worry that this is the beginning of the end of worker protections.
Prop 22 is probably the most dangerous.
True. Puppet Potato. Who is Puppet Potato? And it's Trator? Trator handlers messed up in Afghanistan. America covered up the mass beheading us. Huh. I don't know what that means.
Labor law that has been passed or voted on in my lifetime. They've sort of taken a desire that companies have had for, since capitalism began, which is to keep labor costs as low as possible.
The new law guarantees 120% of minimum wage while a driver has a passenger. And Lyft co-founder John Zimmer says it gives drivers what they want.
Drivers on a 6-to-1 margin prefer being an independent contractor to an...
Wait, but okay, no, hold on. Can we press X to doubt on that one? Can we press X to doubt?
employee. but also we're able to add benefits for independent contractors for the first time.
Right.
So healthcare benefits and disability benefits and protections and insurance that we weren't able to provide before without making individuals employees.
What drivers don't get is paid time off, sick days, or unemployment insurance.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I don't know. This seems kind of a weird PR spin. No. The truth of the matter is, like, workers do need protection, labor protections.
That could save these companies 20% on employee costs. And as independent contractors, legal challenges will be more difficult than they are for employees.
Protecting their flexibility and providing historic new benefits are what we're fighting for.
Jesus.
Steve Gregg says he doesn't feel protected.
I feel manipulated and exploited. I don't feel spoken for.
Yeah, because that's what's happening. Of course. Of course.
Did 16,000 rides as a full-time driver for Uber and Lyft until the pandemic hit.
Well, I love the work because I just fell in love with the human race doing this. And I stayed a driver for a while, despite the decreases in pay.
He says that Proposition 22 will make it impossible to earn a living driving full-time.
They're trying to push it down into a minimum wage job. You should get paid by tips.
Driver pay has fallen for years, and the companies still aren't profitable. But Lyft gained $1.8 billion in market value the day after Proposition 22 passed.
Is it fair to have companies like yours essentially setting labor law across the country?
No. No. That's just not true. Come on, man. Get out of here. That's just not true. Can you define that for me? Can you define that for me, Myth?
It's not the role of a company to set labor law. You know, I wish you could get all money out of politics and just have good conversations. But there's money on both sides. There's influence on both sides.
Although, let's be fair, the pro forces spent more than $200 million on Prop 22. The con forces spent not even $20 million.
Yeah, if you look at it that way, that's fair.
Will you do this in other states?
This is a new way of getting flexibility that people want with a great set of benefits. So absolutely, I think that the next step is to work with politicians, regulators, drivers, and potentially labor leaders, hopefully, across the country to bring this to more places.
Let's go!
Oh my god.
Let's go, Beachbody!
Whoa. Stop it. Ooh, stop it. Jesus Christ. That was a very loud freaking ad. Yikes. Most polls are showing roughly 48% vote no. Larry Elder is leading the group of hopefuls with 18%. Jesus. I hope we can work with labor organizers. Lamau. True. Yeah. Someone was trying to claim a baseless claim of like Biden is like allowing people with COVID into the country. No. Stop it. Right, some kind of lefty. Correct. FDA people, this is the point that we're at. FDA people warns people. The FDA warns people not to take veterinary drug to treat COVID-19. No form of ivermectin drug has been approved by the FDA for use in treating or prevented COVID-19. I can't believe that we have to make this PSA announcement. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is urging people to stop taking veterinary drugs to treat or prevent COVID after receiving multiple reports of patients who have been hospitalized after self-medicating with ivermectin intended for horses. Can you ban this person? Thank you. Like, what does that even mean? And second of all, you never answered my initial question. Like, I mean... Okay. Okay, so TLDR, well, the good news is the number of people at risk for horse parasites is down. Oh my god. Yeah, self-medicating. Self-medicating with ivermectin, because some people have been promoting it, does not make it so. You are not a doctor. Why are you self-medicating with, first of all, a anti-worm disease? It's a veterinary drug to treat horses and cows. Stop it. Yeah, and then these are the same people who are like who are scared of the vaccine because they don't understand what's in it, but are willing to take like literal drugs intended to prevent parasites in animals, which is not an antiviral drug. It's generally used to treat or prevent parasites in animals. These animal drugs are often highly concentrated because they're used for large animals like horses or cows, which can weigh a lot more than a human. Such high doses can be toxic with humans. Yeah, so like just don't stop it. That's right. Patients who overdose with ivermectin can experience nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, low blood pressure, allergic reactions, dizziness, problems with bowel and seizures, coma, and even death. Stop it. The agency clarified that the FDA-approved ivermectin tablets meant to treat people with certain conditions caused by parasitic worms, as well as topical formulations used for head lice and skin conditions like rosacea, are different from the drugs that are used on animals. Yeah, no kidding. Wait, yeah, no kidding. Ivermectin tablets and topical formulations for humans have a very specific dose that are significantly smaller than doses meant for animals. Moreover, many inactive ingredients found in animal products aren't evaluated for use in people. In some cases, we don't know how those inactive ingredients will affect how ivermectin is absorbed in the human body. Yeah. That's right. Yes, exactly. Willing to experience these symptoms by taking like this animal drug, animal dose, but a sore arm and like a day or two of like feeling kind of down is like too much for them. The FDA stressed that no form of the ivermectin drug has been approved by the agency for its use in treating or preventing COVID-19 in humans. However, some initial research is underway. Taking a drug for an unapproved use can be dangerous. This is true of ivermectin true. In other words, hey, we haven't finalized our studies and initial research is underway. So can you just like allow science to do science? Alright, just allow science to do science. Meanwhile, we do have proven effective ways to limit the spread of COVID, wearing your mask, staying at least 6 feet, social distancing, washing your hands, also the vaccine. All of these things are, we do have data behind it, okay? So rather than, like, these are the same people who are like crying about how like experimental vaccine, they're unwilling to take experimental vaccines when like literally this ivermectin drug, there's like initial research, i.e. it's an experiment, it's in its experimental phases, if at all, right? Like, stop it. Speaking of which, another Florida school district requires masks. So another school district is trying to go against Ron DeSantis's irrational executive order. So I applaud these folks who are taking into account the health and safety of children and the staff over a governor who has absolutely no idea what he's doing, no idea what he's talking about. Yeah, I applaud these folks, and I hope more counties continue. That being said, Phil Valentine, a prominent conservative talk host in Tennessee and a huge anti-vax proponent, has officially passed away due to COVID. Unfortunately, by the time he changed his mind about vaccines, it was already too late. He was in the hospital for over a month before passing away. Ah, shoot. Hold on, folks. A Florida mom lost her 2 sons back to back in a span of 12 hours after they refused to get the vaccine. She got the vaccine, all of them got COVID, and guess who lived? And guess who lived? While she got better, both of her sons got worse and had to be hospitalized and eventually put on ventilators after developing double pneumonia. Mr. Free died on August 12th, followed by his brother just 12 hours later on August 13th. Yeah. Take the vaccine. Right, I understand, Chai Bureaucrat, but like, we live in an ever-flowing, constant updates of information, especially as things change constantly. So like, I understand where that can have that, hey, Tina 2, I'm about to leave, but double pneumonia? Yeah. I understand where that could be like a concern, but the reality is, this is an ever-flowing situation. Yeah, that is a thing, by the way. That's true. And unfortunately, like, with that, we change our updates based on the new data, right? And this is sad. This is a sad story. This is a sad story. I hope you're well. I hope you're doing good. People being outed at restaurants to get people out in restaurants and shopping. I mean, maybe, but if we want to do this, we've got to do it with a sense of like safety guidelines put in place. Like, you can't open up and then not expect to have vaccinations and masks up and running. So I get the concern. And I'm sure this is going to be plastered all over the place. I'm going to go do stuff. Love you, chat. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. The Mississippi State Department of Health issued an alert on Friday ordering any coronavirus positive individual to isolate for 10 days or face up to a 5-year prison sentence and a fine of $5,000. Thank you, I appreciate that. The isolation order comes amid surging COVID cases as the 7-day average for new cases reached 4,316. There is precedent for using this type of health alerts and health mandates. We've seen it in smallpox, where the state of Tennessee told everybody that if you're out there willingly spreading smallpox, that you would be subject to hefty fines and jail. This is very similar to this. If you're out there being COVID positive and you refuse to either isolate or take precautionary measures, I mean, like, dude, that's irresponsible. Stop it. And if you're like concerned about the ever increasing overreach, then do your part. And that's it. Alright, folks. Darling Sierra, thank you for the follow. I hate to break it to you, but we reopened under Biden. True. There was no real shutdown. There was no massive nationwide shutdowns under Trump either. There was states who decided to take actions. There was states and counties that were taking action. But as a whole, we weren't really doing much in terms of like lockdowns, right? I know that certain counties here in Florida did lockdowns for a couple of weeks. State of Florida in itself didn't really do much of that. Maybe so, Chai, but the reality is there's also the concept of there's also like this ever-changing notion of what's happening, right? How do I use solar power for my home? Research how to get solar panels. They're cheap. What I would recommend is look at the studies and look at the latest CDC guidelines. Climate change will disrupt supply chains much more than COVID. So yeah, this is the headline that I think is pertinent. This is the headline that is pertinent. And so yeah, if you thought COVID was bad, climate change is going to make this way worse. Wildfires in the American West, flooding in China and Europe, and drought in South America already disrupting supplies for everything from lumber to chocolate to sushi, rice. Yeah, so this is just a really quick, like, pin. Just putting a pin in it. Just putting a pin in it of what we could be experiencing as a norm, right? As a norm. Just saying, you want to make the economic argument. This might be something to take into consideration. And given the fact of how bad we've dealt with COVID, this can only mean I'm not too confident. All right, folks. Frost nukes. Oh, well, yeah, I think that releasing those restrictions without having herd immunity was a mistake. Despite it being okay, technically, for people who are fully vaccinated to hang out with each other, people took way too much way too much, latitude with that. And I suspect a lot of folks who weren't vaccinated stopped using masks. So yes, I think that I think that you are correct. I think they jumped the gun, without waiting for herd immunity or without waiting for a mass majority of people to be vaccinated before releasing that. Before releasing that mandate. The CDC didn't really assess the social environment when they changed the guidance, right? Because like I said, technically, if you're hanging out with all fully vaccinated folks, technically it's safe in terms of like releasing restrictions with masks. The idea is that people, social groups who are vaccinated can hang out with each other. Family members who are all vaccinated can hang out with each other. However, they did not assess the social environment, and a lot of people, you saw it on Twitter, we went over it from the beginning, where people were like, well, I identify, the one joke that they do, I identify as vaccinated, and these folks are going around without masks when they weren't vaccinated. That's the problem. All right, folks, focus. What do you think about nuclear? I think that there's issues, but I would prefer something that gets us off fossil fuels cheaper and quicker. I mean, fusion would be nice. I think we were about here. I'm vaccinated by Jesus. Earth system models can be driven by anthropogenic CO2 emissions, in which atmospheric CO2 concentration is a variable. Is it projected? Wait, no, I think we did this. 33. There's some interesting hydrogen return. When it goes wrong, it goes really wrong. Yeah, that's a concern, of course. So that's why I say maybe there's a plethora of other options, whereas nuclear it should be not the priority, is what I'm saying. This is what I talked about earlier. CDC limits review vaccinated but infected, draws concern. Federal Health decided to limit how they monitor vaccinated people who are being infected, drawing concern from scientists who say who say that may mean missing needed data showing why and how it happens. Researchers want to find out what specific mechanisms to explain infections. Rare breakthrough cases are expected since no vaccines are 100% effective, but tracking and sequencing the cases helping figure out who may be more at risk and whether do variants evade the vaccines when protection from the shots begin to wane. Yeah, yikes. CDC says its numbers are probably an undercount since the surveillance system is passive and relies on voluntary reporting from state health departments that may not be complete. Yikes. Yeah, this is what you were saying. I'll post it in chat again. For many indicators of climate change, so since they aren't required to report vaccinated breakthroughs, that would skew the numbers. Yeah, that makes sense. For many indicators of climate change, such as seasonal and annual means, extreme surface air temperatures, and precipitation, the geographical patterns of change are well estimated by the level of global warming surface, independently of details of the emission pathways that cause the warming or time at which the level of warming is attained. GWL, defined as global surface temperature increase of, for example, 1.5 or 2 degrees Celsius relative to the mean of 1850 to 1900, are therefore a useful way to integrate climate information independently of a specific scenarios or time periods. The use of GWL allows disentangling of contributions of changes in global warming from regional aspects of climate response, as scenario differences in response patterns at a given GWL are often smaller than model uncertainty and internal variability. The relationship between GWL and response patterns is often linear, but integration of information can also be done for nonlinear changes. They aren't required to report. Yeah, exactly. The relationship between GWL and response patterns is often linear, but integration of information can also be done for nonlinear changes, like the frequency of heat extremes. The requirement is that the relationship to the GWL is broadly independent of the scenario and relative contribution of radiative forcing agents. The GWL approach to integration of climate form information has also some limitations. Variables that are quick to respond to warming, like temperature and precipitation, including extreme sea ice area, permafrost, and snow cover, show little scenario dependence for a given GWL, where slow responding variables such as glacier and ice sheet mass, warming of the deep ocean, and their contributions to sea level rise have substantial dependency on the trajectory of warming taken to reach the GWL. A given GWL can also be reached for different balances between anthropogenic forcing agents such as long-lived greenhouse gases and SLCF emissions, and the response patterns may depend on this balance. Finally, there's a difference in the response for even for temperature-related variables if a GWL is reached in a rapidly warming transient state or an equilibrium state when they land. Sea warming contrast is less pronounced. In this report, the climate response at different GWLs are calculated based on climate model projections for the 21st century, which are mostly not in equilibrium. The SSP1 1 to 1.9 scenario allows assessing the response of a GWL about 1.5 degrees Celsius after a relatively short-term stabilization by the end of the 21st century. Global warming levels are highly relevant, as dimension of integration across scientific disciplines and socioeconomic factors are motivated by long-term goals in the Paris Agreement of holding the increase in the global average temperature to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, and to pursue efforts to limit the temperature increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. The evolution of aggregate impacts with temperature levels has also been widely used and embedded in the Working Group 2 assessment. This includes the reasons for concern and other burning ember diagrams in the IPCC Working Group 2. The reasons for concern framework has been further expanded in SR 1.5, the SROCC, and SRCCL by explicitly looking at the differential impacts between half degree GWLs and the evolution of risk for different socioeconomic assumptions. SR 1.5 concluded that climate models project robust differences in regional climate characteristics between present day and global warming of 1.5 degrees Celsius between 1.5 and 2 degrees Celsius. This report adopts a set of common GWLs across which climate projections, impacts, adaptation challenges, and climate change mitigation challenges can be integrated within and across the three working groups relative to 1850, 1900. The core set of GWLs as report GWLs in this report are at 1.0 degrees Celsius. Connecting scenarios and global warming levels. In this report, scenario-based climate projections are translated into GWLs by aggregating the ESM model response at specific GWL across scenarios, climate response pattern for the 20-year period around when individual simulations are given a GWL are averaged across all models and scenarios that reach that GWL. The best estimate and likely range of timing when a certain GWL is reached under a particular scenario, or GWL crossing time, however, is based not on only CMIP6 output, but on a combined assessment of taking into account the observed warming to date, CMIP6 output, and additional lines of evidence. Ooh. Yeah, I think we're arguing past each other. But yeah, the point is, I would put like nuclear at the bottom of the list. I think that we should be focusing on cheaper, faster options that exist right now, and we should move towards fusion. if possible, as quickly as possible. How scenarios are linked to global warming levels. GWL is examples of evolution of pattern change with global warming levels. Left. Oh yes, so this is a description of the box. Okay. Global warming levels are closely related to cumulative CO2, and in some cases CO2 equivalent emissions. This report confirms the assessment of the Working Group 1, AR5, and SR 1.5 that a near linear relationship exists between cumulative CO2 emissions and the resulting increase in global surface temperature. Wow, amazing. Yeah. Seems pretty clear-cut to me. This implies that continued CO2 emissions will cause further warming and associated changes in all components of the climate system. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, chat. Alright, chat. Let's just stay focused. While it is true, I think that we should focus on the fastest ways of getting ourselves off fossil fuels, and the cheapest ways, and if we have those options, we should use that. I would probably put, unless we have like moving, unless we move to fusion, I mean, I think renewables can buy us enough time to get there. Maybe, I mean, the ones that we do have, make sure that they're good, and, the plants that we do have, make sure that they're good, revamp infrastructure, make sure that they're safe, you know, up to code or whatnot, and focus on spreading renewables. Nuclear is neither fast nor cheap, and we need to cut back emissions fast. Right, that's my point. It's like, it's not that, I would just simply put it as like not priority, right? It's not a priority for me. And furthermore, by buying us time, we can then maybe, hopefully, get to fusion. That's also a good point, Darknet. We don't want to cut down their consumption, right? Global warming levels are closely related. Yes, we know. For declining cumulative CO2 emissions, i.e. if net negative emissions are achieved, the relationship is less strong for some components such as the hydrological cycle. Working Group 1 report uses cumulative CO2 emissions to compare climate response across scenarios and provides a link to the emission pathways assessment in Working Group 3. The advantage of using cumulative CO2 emissions is that it is an inherent emission scenario characteristic rather than an outcome of the scenario-based projections, where uncertainties in the cause and effect chain from emissions to temperature change are important. For example, the uncertainty in effective radiating forcing and transient climate response. Cumulative CO2 can also provide a link to the assessment of mitigation options. Cumulative CO2 emissions do not carry information about the non-CO2 emissions, although these can be included with specific emission metrics to estimate CO2 equivalent emissions. The Working Group 1 AR6 has an expanded focus on regional information supported by the increased availability of coordinated regional climate model ensemble projections and improvements in the sophistication and resolution of global and regional climate models. High confidence. Multiple lines of evidence can be used to construct climate information on a global to regional scale and can be further distilled into a co-production process to meet the user needs. High confidence. To better support risk assessment, a common risk framework across all 3 working groups has been implemented in AR6, and low likelihood but high impact outcomes are explicitly addressed in Working Group 1 by using physical climate storylines. Impact drivers are physical climate system conditions, meaning events, and extremes that affect element of society or ecosystems. They are the Working Group 1 contribution to the risk framing without anticipating whether their impact provides potential opportunities or is detrimental, i.e. as for hazards. Many global and regional climate impact drivers have a direct relation to global warming levels. Yeah. High confidence. Lord. That's right, Callum. Definitely. Wait. Hold on. Do we have... Definitely shouldn't be decommissioned nuclear plants before the normal retirement. They only replace the capacity with mostly coal and natural gas, which is what's happening. You pollute by using systems that pollute that are there for them to use. Okay, wait. If you actually read the study, you'll understand why the headline is misleading. Can you clarify that for us? Actually, really interested in this one. Climate change is a global phenomenon, but it manifests differently in different regions. The impacts of climate change are generally experienced at local, national, regional scales, and these are also the scales at which decisions are typically made. Robust climate change information is increasingly available at regional scales for impact and risk assessment. Depending on the climate information context, geographical regions in AR6 may refer to larger areas such as subcontinents and oceanic regions, or to topological regions such as monsoon regions, coastlines, mountain ranges, or cities as used in here. A new set of standard AR6 WG1 Working Group 1 reference regions have also been included in this report. Global and regional climate models are an important source of climate information at the regional scale since AR5 a more comprehensive assessment of the past and future evolution of a range of climate variables on a regional scale has been enabled by the increased availability of coordinated ensemble of regional climate model projections and improvements in the level of sophistication and resolution of global and regional climate models. This has been complemented by observational attribution and sectoral vulnerability studies informing, for instance, about the impact relevant tolerance thresholds. Ooh. Multiple lines of evidence derived from observation, model simulations, and other approaches can be used to construct climate information on a regional scale as described in detail in this box. Depending on the phenomenon specific context, these sources, methodologies include theoretical understanding of relevant processes, drivers, and feedbacks of climate at a regional scale, trends and observed data from multiple datasets, and attribution of these trends to specific drivers. Furthermore, simulations from different model types, including global regional climate models, emulators, statistical downscaling methods, and etc., and experiments, attribution methodologies, as well as more relevant local knowledge. Example, indigenous knowledge are utilized. Interesting. So this is beyond comprehensive. If you read there, they count emissions by consumers as being caused by the oil companies that sold them the gas. If corporation. If everyone could afford a solar car, had public transport, would they be? Would they go be buying gas? Yeah, that is true. Which is, wait, they count emissions by consumers as being caused by the oil companies that sold them the gas. Gotcha. Is there a way you can post that link for everybody? That way maybe we can take a look at that tomorrow. From multiple lines of evidence, climate information can be distilled in a co-production process that involves users, related stakeholders, and producers of climate information, considering the specific context of questions at stake, the underlying values, and the challenges of communicating across different communities. The co-production process is an essential part of climate services, which are discussed in this figure. Ooh, okay. 36, guys. We're making progress. Alright, folks. Well, it is true that we shouldn't just go by headlines. I'm actually curious because I don't think I've read the full thing myself. Here we are. Okay, so I need to save this. So we're going to go over this as a transition to continuing on 36, page 36. We are doing fantastic, I think. I think we're doing, we're making progress on this. Alright, folks, it is 11:27. I do have to get going. Tomorrow, folks, please join us. We're going to look at this study, and we're going to look at this 2017 study, and we're going to continue pushing on the IPCC report, the technical summary, as we get closer and closer to our goal of finishing it, and of course go through a lightning round of headlines. I think tomorrow we're just going to try to focus on getting as much of that done. So please enjoy, please follow if you enjoy the content, and make sure you do the YouTubes and all that awesome stuff. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other, of y'all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya! We've got a great lineup tomorrow. I'm really excited. So I saved that study. So make sure you check that out, folks. It's really important. I love that emote. I love it. I love that emote. Alright, folks. You know what? Let's head on over. Cheers, folks. I'll try and check out the study. Thanks for the link. Absolutely, Kalo. And if anything, just join us tomorrow, or check it out by yourself. There's a link. I think we're gonna go to Tina's, to Tina. So let's head on over. Show some love and support. Haven't seen Tina in a while. Alright, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. It's okay, Kal-El. I understand. Have morning meetings. Oof. Let's go.